I'm Havilee Johnson, and I am the CEO and founder of Immigrant Farm Assist. I am a 3 times licensed pharmacist with dual registration here in Canada. I'm licensed to practice in Alberta and Ontario, Canada, and I help international pharmacist graduates relaunch their amazing 6 figures careers here, meaning I help them to navigate relocation, help them to navigate relicensing so that they can land those 5 figures, 6 figures contracts, and even multi 6 figures contracts per year. So they can take care of themselves and their families, have freedom, flexibility, and complete autonomy and control over their licenses.
That sounds absolutely amazing and is definitely in line with what I help teach women to do. Because so many people out there have skills, have knowledge, have license, as in your case where pharmacies are concerned, and they're not taking advantage. They're not using it to the best of their ability. So that's really great to hear that you are out there opening people's eyes and getting them to take control of their lives, their license, and earn as much as they can so that they can live the life that they want. That's amazing.
Right, right. And that really is in line, Kedisha, with what you teach, as you said earlier, because you are, in fact, a mindset consultant. And we know everything begins and ends in the mind. And with the right
Definitely.
mindset, persons can be open to a different skill set, really. So with the right mindset, they can, get the skills to leverage their expertise, like as in the case of pharmacists, leverage that license, increase not just their income, but their impact in the communities as well.
Yes, that's amazing. And so one of the things I am interested to find out is what inspired you to get started in doing what you do today?
Oh, wow, that's a great question. So, really, my mission started long before I even recognized it. But about 10 years ago, I graduated pharmacy school broke, as our coach would say, broke as a joke, ready to choke. I was indebted. I had a 3 million Jamaican dollar student loan debt. And also, I knew that I had just learned something that I could monetize and turn that into something profitable for myself to elevate my family's finances. So prior to me graduating pharmacy school, I actually lost my dad to kidney failure. And I believe that one of the reasons that happened was because our family wasn't able to afford his care.
Mm,
Healthcare in Jamaica is not universal. You need to have access to funds to pay for, these services. And so we were not able to pay for dialysis. I even took on a job overseas while in college to help him pay for his dialysis. But unfortunately, before I got there, he passed away. So I knew that having lost a family member without having proper access to healthcare, I knew that even me myself being deregistered from school, when I was in high school, I was deregistered for an entire month because we didn't have the income. My parents didn't have the income to send me to school. So those are some of the things that propelled me and fueled this passion and this drive to liberate my family, liberate other people around me, help them empower, educate, and inspire them to go for the life of their dream, but also to change their financial situation. So when I graduated broke, yes, I was broke, but I knew I wasn't going to stay broke. I knew there had to be
okay.
something better. And so for me, moving to Canada was one of the, what I call my exit plan. It was one of the reasons I chose Canada. Why Canada? Because in Canada, you have access to universal health care. I knew that if I took my skill set into a different environment, then I could leverage even more, and then I would be able to get a better income so that I can change the trajectory of my life, my career, and my family's financial future. But it didn't stop there. I got to Canada, and within a year of getting licensed, I reclaimed complete autonomy because I recognized that most pharmacists are overworked, underpaid, undervalued, and they don't understand the power and potency of their licenses. So I was here working and I met a lot of international pharmacists who were stuck in their careers. They weren't making progress. I had a pharmacist who was my assistant being in Canada for 10 years, and I couldn't understand why he wasn't yet registered. And then I had another pharmacist, and she was very brilliant, graduated from a university in Europe, got top honors, President's Pin, all the accolades that many professionals believe they need to have behind their names to get more pay. The problem is she wasn't being paid and she wasn't feeling empowered enough to ask for a raise. And so we got her a little raise, but then I empowered her to get a bigger raise. And in this instance, she got a 47% increase in her salaries. And it made me recognize that I needed to step in and step up and help my colleagues. I didn't want to do it because growing up as a child in Jamaica, I was told I talk too much, you chat too much, shut up, shut up, shut up. So for many years, I've been suppressing my voice. And I didn't understand that my voice was my superpower and I could use it to advocate for others, to help them and inspire them. So that was the impetus. That's what got me started in this. And I'm so, so grateful that I've been able to touch many lives. And I've had many consultations with hundreds of pharmacists, and so many of them are having success stories. So that's why I started the Immigrant Pharmacist Program.
That sounds amazing. So just to clarify, you mentioned you were happy to be broke. So let's just zoom into that a minute. So because you knew what you were investing in
Yes.
and the return on investment that you would get from that, you were happy to be temporarily broke.
Temporarily broke. Thank you for that clarification. So I was, as my coach said, broke as a joke, ready to choke, but I knew I wasn't going to stay in that position because now I have a license and I knew and I understood the power and potency of that license and the skills that I've now acquired so that I can leverage those to change my family's financial situation. So thank you for that.
That's an amazing story. And I just wanted to clarify that because I know that there are so many people that are comfortable being broke and stay in that discomfort
Right.
because it's easier. And so I just wanted to make sure that, yes, for a temporary time, you were going to be broke whilst you got this education and you got your license, but you also envisioned the change that was going to come with the power that you had within that certificate and your license.
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. So that's an amazing story. So in terms of how do you do this? How did you make the transition? Because I'm just so interested to hear, what that process sounds like.
Yes, so I made the transition from Jamaica to Canada, and I did this through a process which I now call the Immigrant Pharmacist Blueprint. In this process, I was able to self-sponsor, move to Canada as a permanent resident versus how many of you understand that there are many pharmacists moving to Canada as students and getting stuck in that cycle and it doesn't propel them forward? That's not what we do. I moved here as a permanent resident, got relicensed as a pharmacist, and then relaunched my six figures career. So in this blueprint, we teach international pharmacists and help them and support them through the process of becoming a six figures pharmacist without going to school, without the hassle, without the pain, so that they can again change their family's financial future.
That sounds amazing because, there's so many stories, even in the UK. When I migrated from Jamaica to live in the UK, there were so many people that were doctors and from other countries like, the African continent.
Yes.
I would meet lecturers, doctors, and they were doing menial jobs because they couldn't relaunch and they didn't know how to in the country that they were living, and also paying really big, super big fees at universities and colleges in order to stay in those menial jobs, really, because the prospects weren't looking good. So it's really great to hear of this opportunity that you're literally giving to people. You've created a system, you've created a process to make their lives easier, and you are
Easier,
the
right?
biggest example because you've done it. So that's
I
even,
have.
you
I
don't even have to
have.
look very far. You've done it. You're in Canada. You've relaunched. You're commanding a certain piece of the pie in terms of return on your investments.
Yes.
And now here you are teaching others how to do this. That is so amazing. And I'm
Thank
so, so
you.
happy for you.
You know
So,
how so many pharmacists are saying, they send these emails and these DMs saying, I'm broke. And it begs the question, like, are they really broke, or do we need to fix their mindsets, right? Because we know that health is one of the most lucrative industries. And if
yes.
healthcare can command a lot of dollars, why are healthcare professionals refusing to raise the bar, raise their rates, especially the fact that we are independent professionals? We can partner with these pharmacies. We can collaborate in the delivery of care so that we can increase our income. And so there's no real ceiling, right? Sickness does not give holiday. And I wanted to say that because earning a certain amount, which is the average amount that pharmacists work in Canada, it isn't bad, but it isn't great. It isn't awesome. And so with this system, we're able to help them to leverage that license and increase their income so that they can use, like I call it, my travel pharmacist system. That's another system in the system where they can get employers to pay for their hotel accommodations or their Airbnb. These employers will pay for their travel expenses, and also they can command higher rates,
Mm,
right?
yes.
So I just wanted to put that out there. It's not where companies would say, I'm employing you and I'm paying you this, and this is what you get. That's not what
No.
we do. We empower you to take full control of your license, your autonomy, so that you can command those 5-figure contracts for the month, those 6 figures contract in 6 months, and multiple 6 figures in a year.
Yeah,
And
that's amazing.
the best part is you can legally reduce the amount of taxes that you pay.
Yeah. Because you've got your business expenses, and so you can leverage that. And this brings me to a thought when I was leaving permanent employment, and my husband, and what pushed me, because sometimes
Mhm.
it's that push, something happens. Because we're not taught about conscious change. See,
Oh,
conscious change is different, but society forces us to change. We don't practice so much conscious change. And I
right,
think what you're doing and what I teach is to help people to go after their dreams by practicing conscious change and
right.
not waiting for something to really happen when at that time sometimes you don't have enough time to do
Reactive,
to react
right.
and be reactive. And I remember when I was a project manager and I was at a particular organization, I'd worked with a manager to agree time off because my husband was having a
Mhm.
major surgery. And then she kind of went back on her word. Sometimes employers do that
Yes.
because, she went back on her word. And I made a decision that was my push. And I moved into consultancy. And
Oh,
within this time of doing that, and I did it scared. I didn't have any experience as a consultant, but I had experience as a project manager, and I had to quickly learn how to
right.
negotiate, how to partner, how to collaborate with organizations, because it's a different
That's
conversation,
right.
and negotiate what my rates were going to be. And one of the things I don't do, sometimes employers contract with these contractors, they like to say, oh, we'll find your accommodation, but I don't. Pay me my rate, I'll sort out whatever. So these are the kind of conversation you can have.
Right.
You
And
know what I
those are the
mean?
conversations I'm having with my clients and inside my community,
Mm,
because you touched on a very important point. You said you had an agreement with the employer and then they went back on their word. And
Yes.
when you are in a binding contract and you are solely dependent on that single income from this employer, it puts you at their mercy. However, in our system, you do not get bound to an employer. You are
Mm.
totally independent. You're an independent contractor. So you get to call the shots. You get to choose what rates you work for, which employers, and for how long, right? You don't have
Yes.
to ask for time off to spend time with your family or doing the things that feed your joy. It's the
Yeah.
other way around. It's employers asking you, are you able to collaborate with us? Are you able to partner with us? And that is the core of what we do inside this program.
Totally different conversation. You can know that you like to take the summer off and you can book a contract. You can get yourself booked in a contract for the periods that you don't want to work. So, do
Right.
you know what I mean? So, you can be on your holiday, not worried about, oh, I've got to get back because you've
Mm-mm.
decided my kids are off school for 6 weeks. I'm going to be taking 6 weeks off. So,
Right.
therefore,
The
my contract
beauty
that I'm going
about
to
it.
take has to end at this date and I'm not available. And not
There you
only
go.
that, your contractors paid you so much more. You probably earn what
Yes.
somebody else is earning in a year or 2 years within a
You
six
earn
month
that in
contract.
6 months,
Easy,
4 months,
easy.
depending on how you choose to
You
work. Because
negotiate.
again, as I said earlier, sickness doesn't give holiday. There's
Yeah,
always a need for our services. One
yeah,
of the limited, we'll get to that in terms
yeah.
of mindset and why, some of the things that hold people back. But you just
Mm,
touched on something very important. You work for shorter bursts of period, um, and you make more. So you
more.
earn more, work less, have more freedom, more flexibility in your schedule. You get complete autonomy. That's your license.
Yeah.
And I think that's just such a beautiful thing to be able to say, I'm not doing this. I'm doing this. I'm willing to do this. I'm not willing to compromise on my value. It's such an
Mm,
empowering thing to do. So, oh, I'm,
yeah.
I'm so
Right.
excited for
That
the
is
people who are going to be, joining us inside
yeah.
Masterclass to learn more about this.
It's amazing. And when I took my step, people probably thought I was crazy but you have to do what's right for you because
Right.
your dreams and your visions are for you. So even when everyone else is following what the market says and staying stuck and staying in indecision, you have to do what's for you. And that takes us back to what are some of the things that you find when you have conversation with pharmacists that's holding
Wow.
them back?
One of the biggest things that hold people back from stepping into amazing opportunities like these, fear,
Ooh.
fear. It is one of the most common answers I get from pharmacists. You would be surprised because everybody who goes to the pharmacy knows that basically your life is in the hands of the pharmacist when you hand them your prescription. And
Mhm.
they are very brilliant professionals, very competent, capable. They are
Mhm.
confident in that white coat. But outside of the education that we have surrounding pharmacy, one of the biggest things that hold pharmacists back is fear. Many are
Mm.
afraid of the unknown. Many are afraid of failing an exam because, again, we've been programmed and conditioned by the system that if you make a mistake, the patient dies. I don't know
Oh,
how many
oh,
of you are aware of this, but in pharmacy school, you aim for perfection, perfectionism. And so you're told or you're taught if you make just a simple mistake, the patient dies. Especially with drugs with narrow therapeutic indices, meaning there's a very small margin between what is therapeutic to heal the patient and what could, lead to their detriment. And so we hold on to that for dear life. That's a philosophy that we hang on to. And so we are fearful of making a mistake, of trying something new. We are taught to stay in the same lane and never move. So fear is one of those factors that hold people back. Fear of failing, fear of the unknown. And I dare say that the reason many are afraid is because their faith is not bigger than the fear that's holding them hostage.
yeah, because I was just going to say the deep root cause of fear is lack.
It's
So
lack.
so I understand this the bit that you talked about where you're taught that if you make a mistake, but the deeper rootedness of that is lack. Because if you have a lack mindset, you just can't get past,
Can't see the abundance.
you
You
can't
can't
see the
see everything that's
abundance.
there, right?
Exactly. And
So
so
it's
you
fear.
protect what you know and you stay there even when it's uncomfortable, even when there's stuff that you would love, you would prefer to shrink because of the
Mm-hmm.
risk that's involved, perceived risks that you see.
The
You'd rather
perceived
shrink.
risk. I'm glad you said risk. Many are risk averse. They're like, it's risky to give up this job that I have, not understanding if you're holding on to this job, it doesn't make room for something better for you that could be a better fit, that could be something that's more aligned with your soul.
Mm,
Um, it's amazing the things that hold people back. Fear, afraid of taking risk, thinking
mm,
they don't know enough. They say like,
mm,
I don't know enough. And I'm saying you do know enough. Look at what Kedisha would say, your archive of evidence. Check back to all the things you've overcome to be where you are now in your career, in your life, all the accomplishment. I can tell you that fear is the number one reason many pharmacists are
mm.
afraid to pursue this dream and to go for the goal and just to, get outside of their comfort zone.
Yeah. So we've talked a lot about the internal things that hold them back, fear being, the one that you find you come up on a lot.
Yes.
What are some of the external
The factors that hold
factors
people
that hold them
back,
back?
I think one of the biggest thing is money, funding,
Ooh.
which is something that many people are afraid of talking about money.
Mm,
But I'll get a lot of messages and a lot of DMs from pharmacists saying, I don't have the money to pursue this dream.
mm,
And how many of you ever feel like you have enough money or enough time? We always feel like we don't have enough money to do the things we want to do, nor enough time. Yet we were able to get a very expensive degree and it costs something. So how are we able to achieve this dream of getting an expensive degree? Like you just left school, you're pretty young, you haven't yet had your first job, but you were taught to get into debt, to leverage debt for school, but we were never told that it was a good thing for our lives. If we want to get to the next level of our lives, then we can do the same thing we did for school in our
mm,
life. So a lot of persons will say to me, well, I don't have the money to do it, which is not true. The money is there. It's in the marketplace. Some persons will say, well, I don't have enough time. And
ooh, ooh.
nobody has enough time. We
If you
have
don't
to
have enough time to change your life,
they
what
will
do
say,
you
I
have time
don't
for?
have enough time, but I dare say you may not have the time, but you have to make time and create space for the things that are important to you. So the real question is this a priority for me in my life? Is this
Mm,
something that's going to propel me to the goals and dreams I have for my future, right? They'll say, I don't have
mm,
enough time. I don't have enough time to study. And I get it. You're out there, you're wearing many hats, you're doing a lot of hours on the job. That's why it's important to earn more so you work less and you'll have more time to do other things. You might have
hmm.
a family to take care of. You might have other, obligations like your parents might be elderly. I get it. But is this a top priority for me? That is the question you should be asking yourself instead of saying, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time, because you're just really reinforcing to your subconscious that there will never be enough time to do the things I want to do.
And the subconscious will go to work on that. So if
Yes.
that's what you want, here you go. So the
And
money mindset and the time mindset narrative needs to shift
it
in these
needs to shift,
pharmacies.
right?
Okay.
It's, I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. They'll say, I don't have enough information. But is that really true?
Mm,
Because there's so much information out there. we're in the age of information
Information.
and the creator economy. There is an abundance of information out there. The real question is this the right type of information I need to make the next best decision for my life, for my career?
And
Because
not only that, you've
information.
simplified it.
I have simplified the process. I take you out of the weeds. I give you exactly what you need so you can do this thing step by step by step. And not only that, inside our program, and in the process, we hold you by the hands and guide you. We're walking along with you along this journey. Some persons have said, besides money and time, they'll say stuff like, I won't have enough job opportunities.
Well, that is definitely a lack
That
mindset.
is
That needs reframing.
definitely not true because I have seen so many job offers on the market for pharmacists. I myself have a contract that's coming up. I've done many contracts. I've had pharmacy owners reach out to me that they're willing to mentor an international pharmacist who's already passed the exam.
Yeah,
And here's the next thing. Canada is taking in millions of people over the next couple of years for the foreseeable future. There will never be a case where a pharmacist doesn't have a job opportunity.
that's
There
just
are
amazing.
pharmacies in Canada that are open 24/7. New hospitals are going to be built for the future. More and more people are going to be having children that will need our services. And in Canada, there's right now an expansion of the scope of practice for pharmacists where we are doing prescribing, pharmacists are doing other services. You can open a specialty pharmacy or work at a specialty pharmacy. So that mindset that you won't have the job opportunities, it will be there. But what type of job opportunities are you looking for? Are you seeking to just make the average annual pharmacist salaries,
Mm.
or are you looking to earn more, work less, spending more time doing the things you love and spending time with your family? It's a matter of reframe perspective.
That
So
is exactly what I was going to say. Is reframing. How about trying? There will be so many job opportunities. I won't have
you
time to
won't
do
have
that in my
time to do
lifetime.
all of them. We
You will
will
have to be
go home.
sharing them with other pharmacists. Say, come
That's it.
and see what's going on over here.
And there's another interesting trend right now where less persons are matriculating into pharmacy school over the past couple of years, especially since the pandemic. There has been, truthfully, a burnout in the healthcare sector. And so less people are matriculating because they're like, this is not the dream I had for myself. The
Mm,
COVID pandemic came, and so a lot of persons had time to really do an introspection and say, this is not what I wanted for my life. But for those persons who pharmacy is the right opportunity, or for those persons who are already in the field, now they can leverage the license, leverage their skills, their knowledge, their experience. This is a great time because when there's a scarcity of labor, it means that we now meet the law of economy.
yeah.
And many persons, they're so focused on the science and the biology and, all the science stuff that they miss out on the things that we're supposed to learn about life. So the law of economy says when there is a low supply, the demand is higher. And so now you can raise your price because there's a demand for your
There's a demand.
services. Less than 1% of this world population has the skills that a pharmacist has. So if your skill is rare and it's in demand, that
It's
puts
time.
you in control. It puts you, so it's for us to get in the driver's seat of our career and of our lives and name our price.
And the respect that
Yes.
comes with being able
And
to be aware of the power that you
mhm,
have the
being aware.
conversations that get you what you want, that dictates what you choose to get paid, having the autonomy. The
Right.
conversations are totally different and it
It's
empowers you as a pharmacist because now you're not going to work as an employee, you're a partner, a collaborator, and you show up different
yes. You
when you've
show
got
up
that. You
differently.
show up
Right.
differently as
And
that person. So yeah.
and then with so many persons coming in, there's going to be a need for new pharmacies to open. So we have to start thinking like innovators. get into the ideation and the creation space and the creative space, start thinking long term. Stop thinking just in terms of being an employee, but how can I leverage this opportunity? So many of us think we don't have the qualification, we don't have what it takes, but that is a lie. That's just,
It's a
something in our
story that we
mind.
tell
That's a
ourselves.
story. That's it. That's a story we're telling ourselves. So if more and more people are coming, there are going to be more and more opportunities to get into entrepreneurship if you so desire. And if you think you're not the person for the job, here is a truth that you need to understand. Under the Pharmacy Act and regulation, only a pharmacist can own a pharmacy in Canada. Let me repeat. Only a pharmacist can legally own a pharmacy in Canada,
In Canada.
which means you could partner with someone and you'd have to have at least a 51% share in the business. And then you can fire yourself and get someone who that is their passion, but choose not to open a pharmacy and they can run the show. And it's a possibility.
So much to leverage. So
It's
much
the
to
fact
leverage.
that when we are in our own countries, like when I lived in Jamaica, I rarely met a pharmacist who was a pharmacy owner. It was always some business people who own pharmacy and employers. In Canada,
Yes.
it's the total opposite. You need to be a
Mm.
pharmacist to own a pharmacy. So if you've gone through the rigors of the credentialization process, you got your degree, then you got it transferred here, and then you went through the licensing process, and now you have this powerful license that can open a pharmacy, that can employ yourself. But if you don't want to do that, even if you don't want to do that, you can partner with pharmacies. And again, there is a high demand and a low supply.
Yeah.
Who have all that gold, and now it's time to, be worth your weight in gold.
The gold mine is there. Go
It
and
is
take your
there,
part.
and I
Yeah.
will happily guide you. When you're a newcomer to Canada, you will not know the things that you need to know until maybe 10 years later. And so what we do is that we will compress that decade for you. Instead of working the average salary of $100,000 per year, it will take you 10 years to get to $1 million. How about we make $1 million in 4 years? And if you choose to become a pharmacy owner, you can start building equity in your business and you can become a millionaire much sooner.
And even
Because
if millionaire is not the goal, you can create a legacy for your family. You
that's
can
what I was
enrich
about to
your.
say. Kedisha, I think you're telepathic.
I'll let you go.
You cannot pass on your pharmacy license to your offspring. You cannot pass on the knowledge that you have inside your brain to them. And even if you did, they couldn't do anything without a license. You
Mm,
cannot pass on your vaccination skill, your people skill, the things that can help you to, increase your income and leave a legacy. You cannot pass them on. They're intangible. You cannot pass them on to your children. So now is the time to leverage the license, to use the skills that you have that can pay the bills, and also to build and create wealth for you and your family. And that is what we're teaching inside our program.
That's so well said, because so many people say that money is not important, yet they get up every day and struggle to make the little they're making. And they refuse to see things differently and to take that change and to take the chance to. And this is such a great opportunity. I can't think of many profession that has this
Wow.
opportunity, that has this power if they so wish to take it. Because
Right.
literally it's choose. It's
It's
choose
really
because
taking
it's
back
right
our
there.
power. We have actually literally given away our power,
With a
and without even knowing it, because
yes.
we have been programmed, we have been conditioned,
Mm,
right? And many pharmacists believe this is also an internal belief that they have. They believe that they need to get more credentials to get more pay. They
mm,
believe, okay, I have a bachelor's degree, now I need to pursue a PharmD. I had a contact on LinkedIn say an international pharmacist just told them that they're spending $47,000 per year to get their PharmD. And guess what? You have to work for 6 months almost to make that amount
to
of
make
money.
that amount of money, but
And
they're
if you
willing
have a
to do that.
bachelor's and you go to work, it's the same money.
Mm,
So make it make sense, make it make
Mm.
fiscal
Mhm.
sense, right? So
Yeah.
they believe, okay, so now I have the B Farm and or the Farm D, which is a doctor of pharmacy, which is in itself is a terminal degree. So after a Farm D, there's nothing else. So what they do, they go and become a CDE, which is a certified diabetic educator. They say, I gotta go and do some respiratory training. They say, okay, now I need to do asthma plan. Now I need to get a certification in smoking cessation. As a pharmacist, you
Keep.
already come as an entire package. You learned all of those skills and you're using it in pharmacy to provide services, except you're not charging for the service. It is the pharmacy that get
Pharmacist.
paid for the service and you are paid hourly, right?
Yeah.
So they believe it's the mindset shift that we need. They believe they need to go get more credentials, or some of them believe they need to come to Canada as a student first and then pursue the relicensing process. And this is one of the biggest misconceptions. Many international pharmacists think it's cheaper to move to Canada as a student than it is as an actual pharmacist. And
Mm.
the facts are the facts, and the numbers don't lie. It's cheaper to move to Canada as a pharmacist than as a student. And here's the deal: as a pharmacist, whatever money you have to show the government, let's say it's $15,000 for a single person, you'd be like, oh, I have $15,000 in my account. I want to come to your beautiful country. They're like, come on over. You got some money. We need you over here. If you
Mm.
have $15,000, that may pay for a graduate diploma for a 6 month diploma or maybe a 1 year, which doesn't
Mm.
guarantee you'll get your stay. And I've had
Mhm.
a client who paid $40,000 for a 2 years graduate diploma program. Luckily, she found us. We worked through the system. She's now about to license as a pharmacist, right?
Mm.
And then those pharmacists will come as student and they're restricted in terms of the amount of hours that they can work. They also have to still go through the process that we're talking about to get
Mhm.
relicensed. And there's no guarantee when you move to Canada as a student that you'll get your PR, that's a permanent resident status. So they invest all this money. When you show your $40,000, that's your tuition only. The institution gets that money. You never
Mm.
see that money again. In
Yeah.
addition, you need to have at least $20,635 in your bank account to say, these are going to cover my expenses because I can't work full time. I'm here to study.
Yeah.
And that is so unfortunate because it's the belief that if I come as a student, my life is going to be easier when in fact you will be restricted in terms of how many hours you can work. I believe it's now up to 24 hours. That's like a day.
Yeah.
And in addition, you are going to be paid close to minimum wage.
That's what I was just coming to. And then if you've got a family, then the impact on that, not
Exactly.
being
And
able
the
to
time that you lose studying for 2 years to start a process that you could start today, that you could
today.
start now. And those are some of the things that I'll be sharing and uncovering, and persons will be discovering inside our upcoming masterclass, which I'm so excited about.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. What should listeners do next? So you talk about your masterclass. What do you want them to do next?
So if you're watching this, I'd love for you to pull up a new browser and go to www.immigrate2elevate.ca/masterclass and register for our upcoming masterclass. In this live virtual experience, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how you can permanently relocate to Canada, how you can seamlessly and smoothly navigate the relicensing process so that you can relaunch your amazing six figures pharmacist career. You'll also learn things like how you can leverage your license, leverage the skills you have that pays the bill. And I'm going to be breaking down some insights into my travel pharmacist system, which has allowed pharmacists to make 100K in 100 days, save on taxes legally. We're talking about this does not involve anything like network marketing. It doesn't require you to recruit your family members to come work for your company. This is you using a skill that you have honed. You have worked so hard to develop this skill, and now you can use it in this marketplace. So for those persons who are interested in coming to our masterclass, we do recommend that they upgrade to the VIP option. So it's free to come to masterclass. However, to make the most of this opportunity and to spend more time inside the room with me, you can upgrade to the VIP option. The VIP option is very exciting because not only do you get to spend more time in the room, you join us on Zoom, you will get live coaching and get feedback in real time. You get the opportunity to ask your questions and get answers. On top of that, there is a bonus bonanza. So you'll get access to our portal. There will be a training from our millionaire mindset consultant, Kadisha Tate. You will get training from our pharmacy owner and preceptor, who is also an international pharmacist. So they understand the climate, has been a pharmacy owner in Canada for 15 years. Then there's a training from a licensed financial advisor. And on top of all of that, you also get access to our amazing credit system mastery training. And I know so many international pharmacists are worried about credit, but before you move to Canada, it would be great for you to have information related to how the credit system operates, because credit is the name of the game. North America, developed countries like the UK, in the
Yes.
UK and Europe, in Canada, USA, these systems are ran on credit. And so many persons are used to the cash system where they use cash for everything. And so when they get to Canada, they get into a bind. They're not sure how to leverage this credit system so that they can, get a mortgage, so that they can have housing for their families. So we have a credit training. That credit training alone is valued at $197. The bonus bundle altogether is $397, and you get that for free when you upgrade to the VIP ticket option, and that's only $67.
That sounds amazing. That is amazing. So they just need to sign up at the link you've just
Yeah.
provided. If they sign up to VIP, they get tons of bonuses. Plus they get live coaching. That is, I mean, that is definitely amazing.
Yeah, so we're going to
Great.
leave a link below this video. So make sure you click the link and register for masterclass. And we are looking forward to seeing you there.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Abelie, for giving me the time. I mean, I've learned so much
Thank you. Thank you.
about pharmacists. I'm thinking I've got to come back as a pharmacist, and hopefully with the mindset of leveraging my license
Right.
to make sure
Right.
I can live the life that I would love and should
Yes.
have.
We are
Thank you
helping
so much.
pharmacists across the globe to unlock their Canadian dreams. And this is a great opportunity for you to, step forward and expand in your lives and your career. So that's why we chose the team Immigrate to Elevate. You immigrate to Canada,
Amazing.
you elevate in your life and your career. So I just want to say thank you so much, Kadisha, for, you know, giving me this opportunity to express how I can help pharmacists. And I really do appreciate your time.
Absolutely. It's all about empowering women, empowering pharmacists, empowering anyone who wants to make the best of their lives. So it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank
See you
you.
next.
Bye.